So sometimes they don't give you positive angles where you would be moving counterclockwise. Like these are all positive angles, so you would just be moving counterclockwise around the circle. Sometimes they give us negative angles, and all negative angles mean is that instead of moving clockwise, you move counterclockwise around the circle. One of the easiest things that I found to be able to do is to figure out, instead of thinking of it as a clockwise movement, to kind of figure out what it would be counterclockwise so that you could keep moving in a positive direction. So to do that, you basically just take 360 and add it to your negative 120 to get your positive degrees. So if I take 360 and add it to our negative 120, I will get 240 degrees. So I know that I would start here, and to get to 240, I would have to pass 90, pass 180, and get between 180 and 270. And 270 is down here, so it's going to be like this. So this is considered a positive 240. What a negative 120 looks like is starting from 0 and going, here's 90, here's another 30. This is a negative 120. So you can start at 0 and go negative 120 this way, which would look like this. Or you can add groups of 360 and figure out what quadrant it is and go this way, and then just draw your arrow going in the opposite direction. Remember, negative degrees are going to move clockwise. Let's take a look at the second one. I have negative 250. So if I have a negative 250, I know that I'm going to go clockwise, and I'm going to go around almost 3/4 of the way, because 3/4 of the way, 1, 2, 3/4 would be 270. So it would stop right before there. But if I take 360 and add it to my negative 250, I'm going to get a 110 angle. And 110 positive is right past 90. There's my 110 positive. Here is my negative 250. I have to go past 90, past 180, and almost to 270. This is a negative 250 degree angle. So this one wraps all the way around to here. So this 110 positive and this negative 250 is going to add up to my total rotation of 360 degrees. Third one is a negative 300. For a negative 300, I can take my 360 and add it to negative 300 to get 60 degrees. So I know I'm going right about here. That's positive 60. Negative 300 would start here, would wrap around past 90, past 180, past 270, all the way to here. So going from this direction around to here is my negative 300. So this helps me to determine, all right, I should be stopping at quadrant 1. This one, I should be stopping at quadrant 2. I should wrap all the way around to quadrant 2. This one, I should be stopping at quadrant 3. Because that's where my negative 120 lives. This is where my negative 300 lives, which is in quadrant 1. So these are all very important, that you can connect your positive angle with your negative angle, and knowing that what quadrant it's located in. We're going to be doing a lot of quadrant work, and you have to be certain what quadrant lives where. Again, become familiar with that, because that is a whole slew of questions that are coming down the pike. For negative 45, I would take my 360 and I would add it to negative 45. And when I do, I think I get 315. And 315 from 0 positive is all the way way around to here. Here's 270, so 315 is right about here. So all this positive is 315. Negative starts at 0 and moves clockwise. Negative 45 would be this spot right here. Bloop. And this is a quadrant 4. So this helps you determine, when you're adding groups of 360, what that does is it actually helps you determine what quadrant it's going to stop at. And then you can either just double back or you can count backward 90s. That's fine. The second piece of this is what if they're beyond a full rotation? So when they're beyond a full rotation and negative, you're going to add groups of 360. So basically what that looks like is I would take 360 and I would add it to negative 500. So I got my calculator for that. 360 plus negative 500, and that gives me a negative 140. And then I have to do it again. I would do 360 plus negative 140. And I think that would do it. And that's 220 degrees. So I know that I'm going to end up in the 220 degree range, which is somewhere in quadrant 3. Okay. But because I did a whole entire group of 360, I've got to rotate this thing around more than once. So I have to start here at negative. I got to go all the way around this thing. There's 360. And then I got to go another 140. So here's where it's going to be. So it kind of spirals around like this. So I know that I've gone a full 360 and then another 140. So that's that clockwise rotation for this one. Now, what will happen though is, and this is where the positive part comes in handy. If I can visualize where 220 is, I know that this to here is my 220 positive. All right, I just know that because this is more than 360, I have to make a full rotation around before I stop. But at least I know that I'm going to stop there. Okay, so this is my negative 500. For negative 980, well, I've got to take my groups of 360. I've got 360. I'm going to add it to negative 980. That's a negative 620. So that's one full rotation, still not done. I'm going to take my 360 plus my negative 620. I'm at negative 260, so that's a full rotation again. So I'm 2 rotations around and still not done. And this third one should do it. 100 degrees. So this means that when I'm done going clockwise around, I have to go 2 full rotations and then another 260, which means I should end up where 100 lives. So this is how you do it going positive, so you can kind of gauge what you're doing. So this is my 0. I need to go to 100. Here's 90, so I'm going to stop here. All right, this is 100. So it's a quadrant 2 angle. But if I'm showing negative 980, I have to start here. I've got to wrap around twice. So I'm going to go around once. I'm going to go around twice. And then I need to go another 260. So I'm going to stop where that orange is. There it is. That's your negative 980. So again, what this 100 does is it tells you kind of like where to stop. This one is 360 plus 360 plus 90, 180, 260. There it is. Right there. So this is a negative 980. Okay, again, this is a quadrant 2 angle. This one over here, I forgot to write. This one is a quadrant 3 angle because it stops in the bottom left. This is quadrant 3. And negative 776 is one more. So I'm going to take my group of 360 and add negative 776. That's going to give me negative 416. I'm going to take my 60 and add that. That gives me a negative 56. So I have to take one more group of 360 and add. And I'm at 304. Oops. So moving positive, this is going to stop at 304. So here's 270, 80, 90, maybe like right here. That's positive 304. This is going 2 full rotations around because I had 2 360s right there. So for here, I would wrap around once, wrap around twice, and then I have 56 more, which is going to stop right here. So that's how you do the negative 776. This is a quadrant 4 angle because it's bottom right. So that pretty much gives you the how to do negative angles, drawing negative angles correctly by adding groups of 360 to figure out where the positive part is. When you have multiple rotations, they can get a little confusing or annoying, but that's, to me, I found the best way to do them.